Blame Truth here, and boy oh boy do I have a video for you today, viewer. I'm all about finding the truth on this channel, getting to the bottom of things, even when it may not seem like I have anything concrete. I tend to predict exactly what's happening, and I just want to do that in this particular video, but also show you guys some actual factual shit that cuts through the noise, cuts through the fucking bullshit, and gets right down to brass tacks and lets you know exactly what's going on. There are a lot of powerful people out there that will market you something. They will play on your lizard brain. They will play on your emotions. They will play on your genetic makeup to sell you a product or get your attention on a product that is actually, when you really look at it, a pile of shit. It's happening more than ever in this particular decade, and I don't think anyone with a brain that isn't like a sociopath would disagree with that statement. Personally, but I digress. I was watching a video from Review Bra, and he was eating this $16 slop bucket from KFC, and bucket, I am doing air quotes right now, you cannot see, but it was more like a small bowl of just fried garbage, you know, very small portion size, $16. And this was one of the top comments on that video when I watched it. It's so sad that everything just fucking sucks now. That is where we're at. Make no mistake, we are going to stay here until we can all get on the same page and push back against this bullshit. But that's ways in the future. Regardless, though, I am here to cover Call of Duty. I am here to cover exactly how they are fooling you yet again. If you guys could please drop a like on this so this gets pushed out into the algorithm, and little Timmy and Billy Goat 57 and all the other people that maybe aren't dumb, but maybe they're just ignorant, can find this video and see exactly what's going on. But without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping and get right on into the meat and potatoes, because, viewer, I have a lot I want to get off my chest. So the first thing I want to go over before I cover Infinity Ward ejaculating all over their own uvulas is this comment right here and what it's a reference to. I am not XJ9 says, Blame Truth has been awfully quiet since the PSN player counts dropped, smiley face. I too love standing for billion-dollar companies on a single individual's YouTube channel, but I digress. If you don't know what he's talking about, he is talking about this right here. The player counts for Call of Duty actually leaked, roughly at least, on PlayStation. And on the surface, it looks like Call of Duty's fine. I've seen that all over Twitter, just kind of browsing, like, wow, people are saying Call of Duty's dead, but look at this. It's got millions of players. So let me address I am not XJ9, you stinky bong resin smelling weeaboo motherfucker, and the rest of the people that want to stand for the company that caused a woman to commit Sudoku. Sorry, I gotta censor myself a bit for YouTube and whatnot, but regardless, let me show you what he's talking about here. PlayStation 5 US weekly player counts have been revealed. And on the surface, again, Call of Duty looks like it's doing pretty good here, you know? Like, now, I don't know the exact, I guess, metrics they use here. I don't know exactly how they are finding these numbers. I don't know if this counts PlayStation 4. I don't know if this is unique users or just multiple people. I'm not really sure. I think it's also only in the US. So for all intents and purposes here, this looks on the surface like Call of Duty's doing pretty good. I mean, 4.95 million players over the course of a week is no small number. I mean, Call of Duty's still a gigantic brand and whatnot, but I think me and many other people have pointed out the factual number proven decline of the franchise over the past several years. And I will do it again in this video, because when you actually see where it ranks right now, just compared to last year, it is absolutely fucking pathetic. 4.95 million players, again, seems like a lot, but this is over the course of an entire week, and it's not just like a snapshot that I show you on Steam Charts, which is a number of players at any given time. I think Steam Charts goes in 30-minute increments or whatever. It takes a snapshot of all the players online, and then it does it again 30 minutes later, and yada yada. So it's completely different to that. Over the course of a week, I would imagine that Call of Duty's in the hundreds of thousands of unique players because not everyone plays every second of every day. People have to go to sleep, go to work. Well, for Call of Duty players, the work doesn't exist, but people have to go to sleep and they have to order DoorDash and they have to veg out to TikTok and whatnot. So they're not always on the game. But regardless, this number, again, going back to 4.95 million, is just no small feat. But let's just compare it, if you want to see how much they've fallen, to the monthly active users, and this is verified data since November 2024. And the number I'm going to show you, I've showed this a bit on the channel already, but the number I'm going to show you is undoubtedly worse than the low point. This was a thread released 5 months ago with verified data here from VGI. COD saw a massive drop in players during 2025. The monthly active users, which is the entire month's worth of players, I'm assuming individuals as well, is not great. It went from 36 million all the way down to 18 million at the launch of Black Ops 7. We saw that Black Ops 7 sold very poorly, 60% less sales than last year. But not only did it sell poorly, it didn't really move the needle at all. That number right there, 18 million, is undoubtedly much lower right now in 2026 than it was November 2025 with the COD launch. If we look at the PlayStation numbers individually there on the 18 million graph in November 2025, it accounted for 9 million unique monthly active users. And I don't really think it's a stretch to say that the 4.95 million players in any given week, if you just count those as unique individuals, that is not going to go up very much for the whole month. I don't see it going up very much for the whole month. They might get maybe a million or two. I'll give them that. So maybe 7 million players tops in any given month on PlayStation. But this 18 million number worldwide on all platforms has undoubtedly dipped out. I mean, if we look at the PC numbers, 2 million players on PC alone, but we see on Steam that so many PC players have completely abandoned the franchise. If we go back to the Circana numbers in November 2024 here, when Black Ops 6 just launched and they had that big 36 million player base or whatever, Call of Duty HQ was the top played thing on both PlayStation and Xbox, and was number 3 on Steam as well. And the Circana numbers are always weird to me because there are no numbers. They just rank them. We don't get to actually see the hard data. But over the course of the next year, Call of Duty would lose that top spot, fall to Fortnite, fall to the number 3 game as well. So if we take this into consideration, we can kind of guesstimate where Call of Duty was at in comparison to Fortnite, which has about 15 million players as of this week on the PlayStation charts. So Call of Duty at one point in the last year was beating Fortnite. We can assume, just through deductive reasoning, that Call of Duty was possibly pulling around 16 million players just on PlayStation alone in that week, like the week of Black Ops 6's launch. We can assume that. I don't think that is an off assumption. So we've gone from 16 million players and the number 1 spot on PlayStation to falling to spot number 4, which means Call of Duty has probably lost about 10 million players on PlayStation. I would just, again, guesstimating here, probably about 10 million, maybe even more on PlayStation alone. And again, they've lost 18 million players just from December 2024 to November 2025, and that's undoubtedly dipped as well. I'm simply showing you the factual numbers here. I like Steam charts because it shows the overall sentiment of the game, but also it gives me the clearest, hardest data that I can reference to show you that the franchise is not where it once was. And maybe you're still not buying this, even though I'm showing you such a fall off fucking decline just in the past year alone with this franchise, even on console where it's more popular, and that's accounting for Warzone being a free-to-play thing bundled into that, because COD HQ is the last 2 COD games and Warzone combined. But again, let's get back to the nitty gritty here. If you think that this is not terrible, if losing 10 million players on PlayStation alone is not terrible, if losing 18 million players, 18 million guys, if losing 18 million players in the span of 1 year, and that's only the data we've tracked, it's undoubtedly lower than that. I would argue it's probably 14 million across the entire month on every platform now. Maybe even less, maybe more, but probably less at this stage in the game. But yeah, if you don't think that's bad, I have something else to show you that's going to blow your mind, as well as Infinity Ward talking about their next dog shit fucking game. And I just don't want you guys to be fooled again, so I'll get to that after a brief word from this video sponsor. Plop this powder in your coffee and your body starts pumping out 80% more of the molecule that won the Nobel Prize. And I'm not making any of that up. This is Black Forest high flavanol cocoa, and in 1998, 3 scientists won the Nobel Prize in medicine for discovering what nitric oxide actually does. It's the master switch for your blood flow, your energy, your stamina, and everything below the belt too. But here's the problem nobody talks about. By 40, your body produces about half the nitric oxide as it did at 20. By 60, it's just 15%. And what's the #1 killer of men and women in America? Heart disease. More than all cancers combined, but no one really talks about it for some reason. Here is Dr. Nathan Bryan talking about the root cause of this.
Cutting-edge research suggests how one crucial molecule can impact our health, brain function, and longevity.
That molecule is nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule in the human body, which regulates things like blood flow and oxygen delivery. And the loss of nitric oxide production is the earliest event in the onset and progression of age-related chronic disease. So things like erectile dysfunction, diabetes, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, which is the #1 driver of cardiovascular disease, which is the #1 killer of men and women worldwide. And 50% of the patients that are treated with prescription medication don't respond with better blood pressure because they aren't targeted toward nitric oxide. But most people have never heard of this. They don't know that if you can't walk up a flight of steps or exercise moderately for 15-20 minutes, then you're nitric oxide deficient. They don't know that most toothpaste and mouthwash is killing the oral microbiome that's partly responsible for production of nitric oxide, but no one is interested in curing human disease because medicine is a business. And the epiphany for me came because my dad got a car accident and he developed these non-healing wounds. And I saw the failure of the standard of care to treat dad's wounds. And so I just thought that there had to be a better way. And simply by giving nitric oxide, I've healed this wound within 6 months.
This is why you feel slower, foggy, tired, cold hands and feet, soft pumps at the gym. It's not getting old, it's nitric oxide collapse. Cocoa flavanols, however, are one of the only compounds proven to switch your body's nitric oxide production back on in a peer-reviewed clinical trial. Just 7 days of high flavanol cocoa boosted flow-mediated dilation, the gold standard for measuring blood flow, by nearly 80%. But regular chocolate, it's useless. It tastes good, but it just doesn't do anything for you except give you diabetes. 90% of the flavanols get destroyed in the processing as well. Then Harvard ran the biggest cocoa study ever, the Cosmos trial. 21,000 people, results a 27% drop in cardiovascular death in people taking cocoa flavanols daily.
I haven't even started working out, but 30, 45 minutes after I took the high flavanol cocoa, already the vasodilation, the veins are popping up, and yes, you guys, it works down there on the main one. Even down, you can see it in my legs, you guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's almost nothing more healing than more healthy blood flow and blood pump throughout your body. I just finished my workout, and it's not just about the aesthetics and looking cool with the veins. This Harvard doctor, Dr. Lee, put out a study that high flavanol organic cocoa could literally double your own stem cell production to be pulled out of your own bone marrow and put in all the proper places like your heart, your kidney, your liver. Like, that's wild.
And this is why I personally take Black Forest high flavanol cocoa. One scoop delivers 1,200 milligrams of cocoa flavanols, 10 times more than any other cocoa on the shelf. One scoop of Black Forest is more flavanols than the entire daily dose used in the clinical research. If you don't believe me, you can look at the thousands of reviews on Black Forest's site. Same story across the board. More energy, better workouts, sharper focus, better circulation. And right now, Black Forest just went live with their Memorial Day biggest deal of the year, 50% off store-wide for the next 48 hours. Global cocoa prices have nearly tripled this year, and they want to get it into people's hands before prices reset. I'll hit the link in the description right now. 48 hours, and it's gone though, so hurry up and take back the molecule your body's been losing every year since 30. All right, guys, welcome back to the video. For my 97% male viewer base, definitely check out BFS's stuff. Their site has a lot of goodies to keep you in tip-top form. But now it is time for the last bit of evidence to see how far Call of Duty has fallen. And it's shocking. And again, these are hard numbers I'm showing you guys. Please do not ignore them and ignore this gigantic loss of players. Not just in the past year, but in the past like 15 years. Check this out. Let's take a look at the live player count, the thing they used to do before Fortnite came along and humbled their narcissistic, goofy asses, and they took the player counts off of the multiplayer menu for good. But regardless, This should be incredibly eye-opening here. And this is just, I don't know, man. It speaks volumes to where we once were. They might be making more money now, but more players than ever have checked out. Just look at this. What you are seeing here is the Black Ops 1 player count around launch. Now, this is not accounting for PC players. This is not even accounting for PlayStation players at the time. This is Xbox 360 only, and it's a snapshot of the player base, just like Steam Charts does. This is not the monthly active users or any of that. This is the players online at any given time. This is what we have verifiably to go back to. Some say this actually peaked over 3 million players. If you are a big Black Ops 1 fan, maybe you can verify that in the comments section below. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that this game could have had 3 million players online at any given time in one snapshot, one go. And that's just, again, one game on like one platform here. Just to put that insane number into perspective here, Counter-Strike 2 is the biggest game on Steam. The biggest game. Like, it's not even close to Dota 2, which is the second biggest game on Steam. It has 955,000 concurrent players right now playing the game. Biggest game on Steam. Every other game it is beating out. Just to give you some perspective for how big of a fucking juggernaut Black Ops 1 and other old Call of Duty games were when they came out, and really throughout the entire year. I recall playing Black Ops 1 throughout the entire year, and I mean, it was rare I would see the player counts on the multiplayer menu go below 1 million. Like, over 1 million. This game, this franchise, used to be the biggest thing ever for player numbers. It was. I mean, it truly was. And that's why I am up here and I'm yelling and I'm so passionate about how in the gutter everything fucking is. And the people making excuses and getting angry at me and my viewers for pointing out these numbers and saying that the game's dying, you are part of the problem. You're why the franchise will never be good again, because you accept mediocrity, you accept slop, you accept flat out lazy bad game design, you accept the worst practices in gaming and don't call it out. And I'm sorry, but you are as much to blame as Activision Blizzard is for churning out these dog shit games every single year at this point. But anyway, let's cover what Infinity Ward said about Modern Warfare 4. I'm going to show you guys a clip from my buddy Nero's channel. I don't think he'll mind. I just don't really want to watch the COD pod talking about this because I'm just checked out. So let's just see what he had to say about this in his last video.
It turns out, after the huge flop that was Modern Warfare 2022, they decided to change things up a little bit. I believe the studio head at the time was a guy named Dave Stoll, who's now like a higher up at Activision or something like that, but now it's Mark Grigsby and Jack O'Hara working together as co-studio heads. Mark is well known, obviously, here within the community. He's been around since the Call of Duty 2 days, and he, of course, was also the inspiration for the character Griggs back in Call of Duty 4. He's been around for a very long time. Then Jack O'Hara, apparently he worked his way up from doing localization in Ireland to working with Infinity Ward over on Call of Duty 4, and he's basically been there ever since. So they posted this new COD pod over to the official Call of Duty YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that down there in the description. And in there, they do an informal sort of like an interview with the two new studio heads. The bombshell is what happens at the very end of that COD pod when they receive this question right here.
Rumor has it that Infinity Ward is making the next Call of Duty. Is there any truth to that?
Yes.
Stay tuned.
We're making the definitive Modern Warfare.
I don't believe you. What?
And look no further than why I don't believe them, because everyone pretty much is universally against tax sprint in the 6v6 multiplayer component. But in the background of that video, you can see the game being played. It's blurry, you know, because of the aperture of the camera lens and whatnot. But it shows a soldier very clearly doing the same tax sprint animation that they brought in with Modern Warfare 2019. I can go on and on. I could make an entire video, and I have before, about why this is the most untrustworthy dev team of all time. And maybe it's their fault. Maybe it isn't. You know, the fact that they have an OG Call of Duty 2 dev still on the team is nice. But at the end of the day, all of the devs are just puppets. I'm sorry. I wish you the best. I hope you make the best game you possibly can. I know a lot of the devs don't like me because I insult their life's work or whatever. But when you are under the thumb of the greediest, scummiest company in gaming, nothing you do really matters because the final say always goes to them. And the final say for them is always, how can we extract the most money possible from the dumbest players that play our games? That's it. That's all it is. Every single fucking year, they promise you the world and they never deliver. I mean, I've covered Infinity Ward lying to you guys on 2 separate occasions, 2 different games since I've come back to YouTube. Modern Warfare 2019 and more egregiously, Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2 2022 Electric Boogaloo. It's Dorbin time. Absolutely nothing, according to the leaks, will change very much from their design philosophy, which is appealing to the battle dads out there, which I don't even want to insult the battle dads that play like Battlefield and whatnot, because at the very least, they're playing a game that, you know, you can sit in a bush and snipe and still help your team, whatever. But Call of Duty 6v6 multiplayer, I mean, I don't even feel like talking about what they can do to fix it because they're not going to fucking listen. They're going to lie to us. They're going to gaslight us. They're going to sell us the same old slop. And if they really were selling us the definitive Modern Warfare, then I have to ask you, viewer, what would they sell us next year? This is a point I have brought up countless times. If they actually give us exactly what we want and give us a fantastic first-person shooter, what are they going to sell us next year? What would be the point of buying any more Call of Duty games? The entire fucking yearly release cycle, until that's done away with, absolutely nothing will improve. It's all about making as much money as possible, marketing the fuck out of a piece of shit game, and selling it to us year after year while we sit there and just hold our Fell For It Again award trophy. But that's not the worst thing about this, okay? Yeah, they're known liars. Yeah, whatever, dude. Like, we've covered them being known liars and not listening to us for ages now. But let's actually cover this insanely narcissistic jerk-off-in-your-mouth thing they put on their website. After making arguably one of the worst, it's not even arguable. I don't think it's arguable. I think Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 6 in particular are 2 of the worst first-person shooters. No, they're just the 2 worst first-person shooters I have ever played in a multiplayer setting. I don't think that's debatable. I mean, I said that when they came out. I stick to it. So let me read you this first, because again, it just goes back to their lies. Players come first. In creating one of the most memorable franchises in video game history, like immediately starting with a narcissistic pat on the back, but we'll get into more of that in just a bit. Our fans are the center of everything we do. We believe that creating relationships with our community can result in some amazing bonds. What? That's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard, because it's so untrue. Inspire us to create. The only inspiring we're going to be doing is when we give you money, and help us push the Call of Duty franchise to new heights. Yeah. We are dedicated to delivering incredible experiences to our fans and sharing our passion along the way. And of course, the usual LARPs just eat this shit up. Modern Warzone says Infinity Ward's website first primary objective says players come first and that their fans are the center of everything they do. That's so fucking funny. It's such a lie. We can only hope the new leadership at IW is more connected to their community and actually acts on key feedback players have to offer. They will not. Prominent leaker Ghost of Hope, who was shut down by the folks at Activision Blizzard, says if you fall for this for the 3rd time, you gotta be the biggest, well, you can see what it says. For those in the car, we'll just say mucking regard. All right, but guys, let's really see the people making their game here. They actually published this on their website, and they thought it sounded good. Just take a look at this. When I read it, I was blown away. We are Infinity Ward. We build visceral, immersive combat experiences that hit different. Well, they definitely hit different, right in the fucking scrotum. As a new chapter begins for this studio, we're focused on what defines us. Passion, precision, obsession. So fucking funny. And an unrelenting drive to make the best entertainment in the industry. Our next game is the result of that mindset. Determined, bold, relentless, built by a team pushing every detail, every system, every moment to its limit. On behalf of everyone at IW, we're proud of what we've been building and excited to finally start sharing it with you. Mark and Jack, if you greenlit this sloppy, self-filleting fucking message to your players, then I have no hope in your game. I wish you the best of luck, I really do, but most people with a functioning brain are not buying it. You have done nothing but release dog shit fucking games since, I don't know, 2013, and I don't see you breaking the streak of that anytime soon. I mean, 2013 was a shitty game, but not to the level of whatever it was you brought us with Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2 2022 Electric Boogaloo. It's Dorbin time. I'd rather hook up my scrotum to a fucking live car battery via some jumper cables and turn the engine on than play that abomination of a video game. I'd rather piss a cactus out of my dick than ever play one of your games after the year 2011, which honestly was kind of half your game, Modern Warfare 3, I mean. You clearly just don't have the talent anymore. I mean, maybe you do, but Activision gives you guys all the freedom in the world, and you continue to churn out absolute fucking garbage that can't hold player interest. The only saving grace you have is how crappy Treyarch has become, because you guys are in a competition to see who can release the biggest pile of shit FPS game, and I mean, I don't know how to call it anymore. I really don't. I was always more of a fan of Treyarch, especially after you released Ghost back in 2013. However, I just don't know how to call it anymore. Both studios are filled with a bunch of egotistical, untalented potheads from where I'm standing, and you're under the rule of Activision Blizzard, the greediest, worst video game publisher known to man. So there's nothing you can do that will bring us the definitive Modern Warfare game, because again, what are they going to sell us next year? Guys, I don't know what to say other than if you read that tweet, that fucking diatribe from Infinity Ward, and you say, wow, I'm excited for Modern Warfare 4, I can't help you. You know, I just can't help you anymore. You're going to fall for it again. And I don't really care if you guys waste $70. You can always get your $70 back. But what I'm really, really worried about is that you are going to waste your time. Your friends are going to be playing Grand Theft Auto 6. Your friends are going to be playing, if they're not playing that, they're going to be playing something else that brings them joy. They're not going to be playing Call of Duty, and if they do play Call of Duty, well, maybe it's time to consider new friends, because I can't see a world where this game is anything but a colossal fucking failure. It's going to start with the disappointing sales for a Modern Warfare title, and it's going to end with probably the lowest player count we have seen in a long, long time. I don't think they could go down from Black Ops 7, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised, because they're cutting out a core portion of their player base by not releasing the game on last-gen consoles. I just can't see a world where this game is going to be a success. I would love to be proven wrong, but the fact of the matter is, if they didn't change their ways with Battlefield 6 and then Battlefield 6 kicked their ass, GTA 6 is going to absolutely fucking annihilate them. And I have popcorn ready in the cabinet, man. I got popcorn ready for the day that this game comes out and it's the biggest pile of shit we have seen yet. Again, I would love to be proven wrong, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to end the video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like rating, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.